Hey guys, I'm Chris, and this is the lore of Warcraft. Now, I was a huge fan of RTSs back in the day, and after watching the Warcraft film, I got seriously hyped. So I thought it would be cool to take a brief look at the story of the RTSs so far, as well as some of the development behind the games themselves. This video will be more broad strokes rather than delving super deep into the lore and development itself. I mean, it's gotten pretty bloated over the years, so we're gonna try and keep things tight. So in the beginning, Blizzard was known as Silicon and Synapses, and was officially bankrolled by the founding members' collective credit cards. While there were plenty of Doom and Quake clones around, the last great RTS at that point was 1992's Dune 2. So in 1994, a renamed Blizzard set out to create a new fantasy real-time strategy to satisfy a market that was arguably underserved. That new title turned out to be the first Warcraft, Orcs and Humans. Warcraft was meant to be a series of different conflicts and different stories between different races, but the Orcs and Humans slant proved to be way too popular, and an RTS juggernaut was born. So in Warcraft 1, we were introduced to the Orcs of Draenor, a noble and ancient race who were corrupted by Kil'jaeden, and those Orcs were given a lust for battle that just couldn't be satisfied. With the bloodthirsty hordes of Draenor at his command, Kil'jaeden, his Orcish emissary Gul'dan, and the corrupted human sorcerer Medivh opened portals through which the Orcs invaded Azeroth. Pretty standard stuff, really. Meanwhile, the king of the human province of Stormwind, Lane I, mounted a spirited defense of the capital. His friend, Sir Anduin Lothar, slew Medivh and took the fight to the Orcs. Back with the Horde, and the Orc chieftains Ogryn Doomhammer and Durotan became disillusioned with the Horde. Viewing the influence of the Burning Legion through Gul'dan with disdain, Gul'dan moved at once against Durotan, sending assassins to kill him and his family, and he largely succeeded. Luckily, Durotan's son, Thrall, survived the massacre, a point that would have ramifications for all involved further down the line. We'll get there. Anyway, Ogrim demanded retribution and killed Gul'dan's puppet chieftain Blackhand. Assuming control of the Horde, Ogrim conquered the capital Stormwind, killing Lane and forcing Lothar to lead the exodus of humans towards their neighbors, Lordaeron. And with that, the first war was over. The second war, however, was just about to begin. Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness was released in 1995 with expanded features and an improved and widely praised graphical style. A level editor was included and allowed for customizable maps for the first time. This was a game changer, but more on that later on. The most important addition to multiplayer was Blizzard's application of Kali, a program that used the internet as if it were a LAN. The quality of the game soon became evident as 1.2 million copies were sold within the first 9 months. As the battered remnants of Stormwind's armies entered Lordaeron, Lothar warned the assembled leaders of the 7 remaining kingdoms about the Orcish threat. The Alliance of Lordaeron was formed, and together with Dwarven and Elvish allies, they prepared to face the seemingly unstoppable Horde. Under Ogrim, the Horde took the Dwarven capital of Khaz-Modan, the realm of Quel'Thalas, and seemed poised to overrun Lordaeron itself. However, Gul'dan betrayed Ogrim at the last minute and withdrew, taking nearly half the Horde with him in an attempt to claim the tomb of Sargeras and a chance at everlasting immortality. Ogrim, angered at being denied a final victory over the Alliance, pursued Gul'dan. Gul'dan, though, fell prey to his own arrogance, and while opening the tomb, released demons that tore him limb from limb. The loss of both forces and Gul'dan himself shattered the Horde, and a resurgent alliance forced them back right into the heart of Stormwind itself. The Battle of Blackrock Spire saw Ogrim and Lothar confront each other in a final climatic battle for the control over Azeroth. Despite Lothar falling in battle, the dark portal through which the Orcs had come was finally destroyed. Cut off from reinforcements, the Horde disintegrated, causing Ogrim to flee, and the remaining clans were placed in heavily guarded camps, bringing the Second War to a close. The Second War had barely ended before cracks started to appear among the victorious allies. The elves, dismayed by what they viewed as the disregard for their suffering, left the alliance. 2 human nations, in favor of inflicting genocide on the defeated lethargic Orcs, also abandoned the cause, and those who were left became complacent. Among this number was Aedelas Blackmore, chief warden of the internment camps. He had trained an Orc from a young age to be a weapon, proficient in tactics, leadership, philosophy, and combat. His name? Thrall, son of Durotan. Thrall escaped captivity and attempted to join with the last free Orc clan of Azeroth, the Warsong, along with their leader Grom Hellscream. Upon discovering his true identity and assuming command of his father's old clan, the Frostwolves, Thrall was joined by Ogrim and began a renewed campaign of liberation. The numbers of the Free Orcs swelled as prison camp after prison camp was overrun and liberated. The campaign was not without payment, however, as Ogrim fell during one of these assaults. With the encouragement and acclaim of the clans, Thrall was anointed the new war chief of a restored Horde, and set about fighting for their freedom from the Alliance. This fight, however, is interrupted by a vision in which a prophet warns Thrall morale of an impending doom and a need to escape to the forgotten land of Kalimdor. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Lordaeron, heir to the throne Arthas and Archmage Jaina Proudmoore investigated a plague that was turning the human population into the undead scourge of the Lich King. Arthas and Jaina killed the necromancer behind the blight, however soon fell to bickering and finally parted ways over the young prince's decision to indiscriminately massacre the citizens of Stratham in order to halt the infection. Tracking the source of the scourge to the frigid continent of Northrend, Arthas intended to destroy the evil behind the plague, the Dreadlord Mal'Ganis. However, the corruption of the Lich King is not so easily ignored, and Arthas gradually fell prey to corruption and insanity. In slaying Mal'Ganis, Arthas also accepted a powerful rune blade, forged by the Lich King himself, called Frostmourne, and in doing so, finally lost that last piece of humanity burning inside him. Arthas, now a Death Knight, returned to civilization and set about bringing death and destruction upon the Alliance. It was here that Arthas learned that the Scourge and the Lich King are part of the Burning Legion, attempting to purge Azeroth after their attempt with the Orcs failed. Because of this corruption, a second dread portal was opened through which Archimonde, lieutenant of the fallen titan Sargeras, and his demonic minions pour through, bringing death and destruction upon the city of Dalaran. Meanwhile, both Thrall and Jaina arrived in Kalimdor to speak with the Prophet, who turned out to be a resurrected Medivh. He warned of the Burning Legion and spoke of the need to unite against this foe. Medivh warned them that Archimonde was on his way to Kalimdor to destroy Nordrassil, the World Tree and protector of the Night Elves. Following the path of death and destruction to the slopes of Mount Hyjal, the loose alliance of humans, orcs, and Night Elves met the Burning Legion in battle. Archimonde, however, was merely slowed by this and was only defeated when the Night Elves summoned the spirit of the tree itself, as ancestral spirits poured forth and destroyed the demon still clutching the tree. Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos was a critical and commercial smash, scoring highly with many reviewers and selling over 1 million units within the first month alone. The addition of RPG elements and focus on hero characters meant the lore had some emotional weight behind it. Story and dialogue was blended into the gameplay, allowing for the sprawling lore and plot to aid the gameplay instead of being a sideshow. And all that is great, but arguably the two most important aspects of Warcraft 3 were Battle.net and the modding scene. The addition revolutionized the multiplayer community and established the framework by which many of today's online multiplayer clients and esports operate today. The improved map editor also allowed for a flourishing modding scene to develop different experiences. In fact, it was the RPG elements, hero focus, and map editor that Blizzard introduced that paved the way for the entire MOBA industry as we know it today. But Blizzard was not finished yet. A year before the release of Reign of Chaos in 2002, Blizzard announced their intention to take Warcraft in a different direction. That game would turn out to be the World of Warcraft, the once 12 million strong subscriber juggernaut that still dominates the MMORPG scene today. Yeah, with further expansions to the Warcraft universe planned, and the first Warcraft being translated to the silver screen, Blizzard are not finished with Warcraft. Let's just hope for Warcraft 4 sometime this decade. Come on, Blizzard, you know you want to. The fans want it, just get it done already. Well guys, thanks for watching this brief stroll down Warcraft's memory lane. In trying to keep this video as tight as possible, we've glossed over some characters like Sylvanas Windrunner, Illidan and Malfurion Stormrage, and of course the Taurens altogether. But if there is enough demand, we may consider delving deeper into the story. If that's something you'd like to see, then click that thumbs up button and let us know in the comments down below. In the meantime, on screen right now is our video on the 6 video game villains in a hero. Here's a hint, Arthas makes an appearance. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.